Welcome to Doll Doc. Today's doll was inspired by one of my favorite movies as a kid, 101 Dalmatians. I've seen a few things floating around the internet on turning villain characters into good guys, so I thought, why not transform Cruella? Instead of loving furs, I wanted to create a character that loved dogs, especially Dalmatians. I started out by making her wig. For this character, I wanted her to have the classic Cruella black and white hair, but I decided I would keep it long to make her look a little more youthful. Once I finished the black side, I left the part weft up a little so the glue could dry while I worked on the other side. Before starting on the white half, I found it helpful to clip the other hair together to lessen the chance of getting glue in it. All I had was a binder clip at the moment. Remember, always be resourceful. On each side I started laying the bangs down, then worked from the bottom of the head up to the part. When you get near the part, place a weft down against the part line in the opposite direction, pressing it firmly in place, and then glue another weft on top of the part over the glue line. Now the moment I was most nervous about, the bangs. I loved the idea of giving Cruella Dollvil some cute bangs, but I'm not a hairdresser, so I tried to be careful so I didn't ruin the entire wig. I cut with tiny scissors little by little until they were at the desired length. Once the bangs were done, I wrapped plastic wrap over the head overnight to help the bangs lay flatter. Disclaimer, I'm also not a professional seamstress, but I attempted to make a pattern for a cute canvas backpack I wanted her to have. At first I tried sewing the canvas, but it wasn't cooperating. So I moved to the next best thing, strong glue. I like keeping my glue in a piping bag because I can choose the tip size, and it doesn't clog as easily as the actual bottle of glue I have. I lined my side pieces up with the back portion of the bag, putting right sides facing each other, and attached them with a thin line of glue. Once dry, I glued the opposite sides to the front portion of the bag. To make sure it bonded nicely, I used binder clips to hold the pieces together. I repeated this for the bottom edges of the sides, then flipped the bag right side out so I could glue down the top edges of the bag and its flap. The binder clips really come in handy to get such a small fold to stay down. While waiting for the bag to finish drying, I worked on the straps. Next, attach the front pocket starting at the bottom and then gluing the two sides. Once the straps are dry, attach them to the back of the bag. This cutie needed some accessories, and I had just the thing to make them: epoxy sculpt. This material is amazing. I started by sketching out what I wanted each item I would be sculpting to look like. There are a few things I thought I would want for the doll, but they didn't end up making the cut. The buckle for the belt was nixed because I decided not to give her a belt. And I felt the buckle pieces for the bag straps made the straps look too bulky. When the sketching was complete, I laid it under the plexiglass on my desk so I would have it as a reference as I sculpt. I used an extra piece to sculpt onto since I didn't know how the epoxy would adhere to this surface. It didn't stick too bad once cured, and I was able to get all the pieces up with some careful prying. I made a phone, some makeup items, a watch face, paw-shaped of course, 3 buttons for her bag, a dog tag for her Dalmatian plushie, a circle bag clasp, which was nixed, and a paw-shaped pendant for her necklace. Once the epoxy sculpt was cured, I primed and painted each piece before sealing them with gloss varnish. I decided to make a plushie for Cruella Dollvil. I made a pattern, sewed it together, and then carefully stuffed each piece. I found for tiny items like this, having some little piece of wooden dowel or toothpick works best. Once the plushie was assembled, I made a red collar out of the same canvas material as the bag and added spots with acrylic paint. Here's where things changed course a little. Originally, I planned on using a Monster High doll for this character, but the head sculpt on the doll I chose didn't look young enough for the vision I had. So I switched over to a Descendant doll I had. Since she didn't fit any Monster High heels I had, I decided to modify some Descendant boots into heels. After they were the shape I wanted, I painted them red with several coats and sealed with gloss varnish. Now time to prep the body. After removing the head, I used a nail buffer to sand the body so the sealant would stick a little better. I sealed her with MSC and blushed her body with soft pastels before sealing her again. Face up time! I got very lucky that this new head fit the wig I had already made. With her hair and factory paint removed, I sealed the vinyl with 2 layers of MSC and began blushing the face with soft pastels. I added some blush to her cheeks to give it a little contour and add depth to the face. With a brown pencil, I sketched out the placement and size of her eyes. Then with a small brush and some soft pastels, I lightly placed the eyebrows, shaping them with a kneaded eraser as I went. Continue to slowly darken your colors. With a white pencil, fill in the scleras of the eyes. Then continue filling in the rest of the colors. With a brown pencil, I begin to sketch the hairs of the eyebrows. With watercolor pencils, I roughed in what color I wanted her eyeshadow to be. Don't worry, this will get blended out when you add soft pastels. With each new layer, continue to darken your colors. On the Cruella cartoon, she has green eyeshadow. I didn't want this doll just to have a flat green, so I added some blue and purple as well. A kneaded eraser comes in handy to remove soft pastel from areas you don't want it. Now with a black pencil, I lightly sketched on a few hairs towards the inside of her eyebrows. I didn't want to continue the black all the way across, so her eyebrows would have a little bit of a gradient. Also, I added some winged liner. I decided to add another touch of youth to this doll by giving her freckles. I mixed acrylic paint with a little bit of water, then with a paintbrush, flicked it onto her face. Make sure to have a cotton swab handy so you can remove the freckles that you don't want and lighten any that are too dark. With white acrylic paint, add a few reflections. Once the final coat of sealant was dried, I added false eyelashes and gloss varnish to the eyes and lips. Finally, I attached the wig and placed a cute bow on her head. And she's done! Meet Cruella Dollvil. I think she turned out adorable, and love that she's no longer a villain. If you like this video, please subscribe and turn on the notification bells. I can't wait for next week's doll. She's coming along swimmingly. Have a great week and thanks for watching.